everybody. What is going on, LBHT Crew B? What is going on?
You know, it's the season of hope again. I know that not for y'all yet, because y'all are still playing football and whatnot. But you know, now's the time when Carolina could be the best. They could be great.
Yeah, you can tell, right? Like you got a little smile again. You know, your little smile's cracking through because the season's finally over, and you're like, now I can start lying to myself again. I mean, you know, I can start believing again.
Like that, huh?
What is going on, everybody? It is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Hope your week is going well, but if not, hopefully it gets better starting right now. We are streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and what's the other one? Facebook. There we go. So wherever you're watching us, you know, the list keeps growing. Okay, maybe Instagram might be in there one day. All right, wherever you're watching us, hit that like button. All right, follow us, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you are listening to us on an audio podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, all that, we are there. Make sure you leave us a 5-star review. Also share it with your friends that listen to podcasts. All right, that helps the show grow. All right, let's get some shout outs here. Some shout outs. Who's in the house? I knew it. Clinton out the gate says this stream is missing something, or should I say someone? Wow. Clint, boy, he just
it's a little hurtful, Clint.
Clint is he's shooting for it, man. Yes,
hey,
Yolanda.
Is that Avatar a live picture every week? You dressing up.
He got to make sure Yolanda sees the face. All right. Yeah, Yolanda's not here this week. You know, look, Yolanda's a guest. Sometimes she'll be here, sometimes she won't. We're gonna have other guests on here as well. You know, but don't worry, Clinton. We got you, bro. It's gonna be a fun show. Coach was first though. Okay, he wanted to let Bazel know.
Look at you.
He wanted to let Bazel know. Bazel came back, said, "You first here, but I was first on your stream." Yes, Coach Evans, Sip2 Tally Films. All right, make sure you guys are subscribed over there. I want before we go any further. I just want to make sure everybody subscribe to Sip2 Tally. 10,000 subscribers is the goal. Okay, that's the goal that I put out there for him. Okay, I think he needs to hit it by the end of the football season. 2,000 subscribers for us. I know you guys can help us get there. So hit the subscribe button here, go over to Sip2 Tally and subscribe over there. Very important to us that we get Coach to 10,000 subscribers. All right. He's a good friend of the show. He's been very supportive of us, and you can find us along with the whole crew, the whole Ravens Roundup crew over there every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. All right. And Bazel, look, you may not have been first on this stream, but you're number one in our hearts. Okay. Not really, but I'm going to say that so you feel better. All right. What's going on, Kimberly? She says, what's up, everyone? Shout out to you. Jeremy Miller's in the house. Shout out to Jeremy Miller. Agent E, salute. Says, what's up, fellas? Coach sent me here.
No,
salute. He's following instructions. Okay. That means he watched Coach's stream, and Coach told his people to say Coach sent them there. So he's following instructions. I like it. P Brown the third, aka P Brownie, says, what's good? What's good with you? Just Aloes in the house. What's going on with you? Shout out to you. Living big with Big Reg in the house. Says, what's good, everybody? Shout out to you. Danity, salute to Danity, says, welcome to the chat. Hit the like and subscribe button as you enter. That's right. Listen to Danity. All right. One Sessions in the house says, what up, LBHT crew? Salute to you, One Sessions. Oh, my guy, Aaron, aka Gino in the house, says, yo, gangster, B, forget about them jokers. The season is over. Go Ravens. I don't know. I'm not sure if you're talking about the Giants or the Panthers. I don't know. I don't know. Shout out to my friend Aaron, man. Longtime friend. Thanks for coming through, man. Shuriken 11 says, what's good, LBHT crew? What's good with you? Thanks for coming through. Our guy Jay the 6 in the house. Salute. What is that? LB? Is that a candle? Is that a lighter? I like that.
Yeah,
I like
a candle. Yeah.
Yes, I like that. I like what you went for there. I like that. I be saying in the house, salute. Says, can we get a movement to stop the poaching? Okay, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a minute. Oh, we got a new subscriber. That's what I'm talking about. Texapeak B just subscribed. Salute to Texapeak. All right. Follow Texapeak and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Pay the bills in the house says, Coach says, what's up? I know, pay the bills. He said, what's up? He's the first in here. But thanks for coming through. Salute to you. Rave Kingdom, salute to you. Says, what's up, LBHT? Shout out to Rave Kingdom. Thanks for coming through. Big Cuz 410. Yo, what's up with you? Yes, salute. Marcus Payne in the house. Salute, Marcus Payne. Thanks for coming through. And Brandon, aka Arkansas 501. What's up, my guys and ladies? I've been talking to some Panthers fans, and they want to get rid of Brian Burns. What do you think about that? All right, we'll talk about that. Keep that in your mind, B. We're gonna talk about Brian Burns. Okay. Chocolate Lady Cap, salute to you. Thanks for coming through. Yes, says, hey guys, hope all is well. Hope all is well with you. Okay, couple more shout outs. Clot in the house. Do you think Munkins will leave? We'll talk about it. Oh, they got, man. You know, this is a good time to remind you guys that we have a segment called Submitted Questions. Yes. Okay. And that is a perfect opportunity for you guys to ask these questions, and we can answer all of them during that segment, because you also get points if we read your question on air. Okay. If you guys don't know, everybody that I've just read in the chat right now, all these comments, you get points for that. All right. If you want to know how many points you have, you type in exclamation point points. Okay. The exclamation point and the word points. Okay. And our chat bot will tell you how many points you have. What are those points good for? Prizes. We get prizes at the end of every month or the beginning of every month. Okay. The person with the most points gets a prize, and we do a drawing. All you have to do, anybody that has 1,000 points, it gets entered into a drawing for a $25 Amazon gift card. That is every month. All right. So subscribe, get you points. Watching, get you points. Participating in the chat, get you points. Donating, like, who was that? Was that Living Legend?
Yes, sir.
Shout out Living Legend, man. I'm gonna read that in 1 second. Living Legend just got a lot of points for that. Okay. Sign up to our Patreon, get you points, and signing up to our newsletter, get you points. And the submitted questions. Okay. While you're asking these questions in the chat, that's great. But send it to us in an email, DM us, whatever. If we, put it on our community tab. If we select your question for the submitted question section, you get points. All right. Just putting that out there. All right. Shout out to Living Legend for the 420 donation. Says, you ready for the playoffs, fam? I'm ready, Living Legend. Living Legend, we are long overdue for we owe Living Legend a shirt. I promised him a shirt. We're gonna get him a shirt. Okay. We're gonna get you one. We gotta make do on our promise. I mean, you didn't win the bet. I just gotta put that out there. We still won, but what's going on, Hendo? Shout out to you. Thanks for coming through. Aaron says, Linus, what's up to my boy Linus, man? Thanks, man. Shout out to Linus. I'm gonna call you Linus. Yes. Chris White's in the house. Says, y'all just scared the crap out of me. I woke up in the couch and y'all was talking to my phone. You know what? That's dedication. That means he clicked on the channel and was just in the waiting room until the channel started. Salute, Chris. That is dedication. That is dedication. Jesus Christ says Lamar helped ROC look good in his first year. It's best to stay with us and improve more. All right. We're gonna talk about all that. All right. Gear Bears. No, not question points, exclamation points. There you go. You got it. All right. And Tracy's in the house. What's up, Tracy?
What's up, Tracy?
What's up? Good to see you. And that damn Dub, I see you. INFJ Tyrone, I see you. OG, salute to all of you. Okay. Look, we got a lot to discuss. We got a lot to discuss. The Ravens are on a bye, but we still got a lot to discuss because you guys are already typing it in. Okay. We got a couple of court cases. Not a little rapid fire. This is going to be a little bit more open and shut, but we're going to spend a little time talking about them. All right. Panthers are on the hunt for a coach. Okay. NGM. All right. We got a major injury in the NBA, and we got a big fight coming up. We got a lot to discuss. But first, we like to start every show with a Black History fact, and B has a Black History fact for you.
Welcome to this this week's LBHT Black History Fact. The 369th Infantry Regiment was founded in 1913 in New York and was active during World Wars I and II. The mostly black regiment went by several names, including the Black Rattlers and the Men of Bronze, but they are most well known as the Harlem Hellfighters. The Hellfighters spent 191 days on the front lines, more than any other American unit, and because of it, they also lost the most men, around 1,500. Over 100 members of the Hellfighters received commendations from the United States or France, recognizing their valor and courage, including Private William Henry Johnson, the first American to be awarded the French Croix de Guerre. Private Johnson was born in North Carolina around 1892 and served in the U.S. Army from 1917 to 1919. By the end of his service, Johnson was known as Black Death. The nickname stems from the night of May 14, 1918. When Johnson, on observation duty with another soldier, fought off a German raiding party of 36. Johnson's partner was severely wounded, leaving Johnson to fight on alone, using grenades, the butt of his rifle, and a bolo knife. It's said he killed 4 and injured as many as 30 German soldiers before they retreated. Johnson himself suffered 21 wounds, and in 1996 was posthumously awarded the Purple Heart, followed by the Distinguished Service Cross in 2003, and finally the Medal of Honor in 2015. Johnson was honored again on June 5, 2023, when Fort Polk in Louisiana was renamed Fort Johnson, for the man Theodore Roosevelt Jr. called one of the 5 bravest Americans to have served in World War I.
Sharikin, you took the words right out of my mouth, man. He says, this man sounds like a superhero. He sounds like the real-life Punisher.
Yeah.
36 people he injured, killed 4, basically with his bare hands.
Right.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
What I really took from that also was Germany was out there like the Huskies. Like they wasn't real. They wasn't ready. It was TCU. It was TCU running up on them. It wasn't that big deal.
Yeah, Black Death. That's a name. That's a name. They don't just hand out that name. You earned it if they called you that. Hey, what's going on? All my friends are in the house, man. There's another longtime friend of mine. Antonio's in the house. It's my man. Good comic reference, Jose. Yes. Look, Antonio is a huge comic fan. He does artwork. Antonio, you still have your YouTube page, right? Check him out. He had a YouTube page a while back, and he'd do some of his drawing and stuff like that. Excellent artist. Okay. Raven Ron, what's going on? Says, what up, LBHT? Shout out to our 3 All Pros. Yes. Oh, I didn't even see the All Pro list.
I saved it. I meant to upload it. Oh well.
Okay. Oh well.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, we'll get to it later. We'll get to it. What's going on? Noah says poor Huskies.
Anyway,
is it?
No Panthers on
it. No. All Pro Brian Burns.
Derrick Brown set the record for most tackles from
Derrick Brown should have been on there.
Over 100 tackles. He wasn't on there.
Derrick Brown should have been on there for sure. It's tough. I would have put Derrick Brown on there. I'd have put him on there. Okay. Let's start with the team that's still playing, but not this week. Not this week. The Ravens are on a bye, ladies and gentlemen. And while they're on a bye, they are still in the headlines. Why? Because there are a lot of coaches being fired or retiring. And we're gonna talk, we're not gonna go too much into it because we're gonna talk about that in the overtime show. Okay. You want to talk about coaching carousel? That carousel is full. It is full. And what does that mean? Look, let's just get this out the way. That means Mike McDonald's out of here. He's gone.
Yeah.
There are too many openings for Mike McDonald to not get a job. Okay. When we talked about this last week, I said, okay, well, maybe not. I think it's 50-50. No, he's definitely gone. Somebody's going to snatch him up. The question is Todd Monken going to be out of here as well?
And right? The answer is no.
Maybe. Maybe. Okay. Before we get too far into that, right? We'll get into that in a second. But all right, they're on a bye. We have a couple options of who we could play in the second round. Okay. Houston is one. The Browns, The Steelers?
Yes.
The Steelers won. And there was another team. I think it was like 4, they said.
I don't remember who the other team was. I just know that the Steelers, if they win, are headed to Baltimore.
Well, any team that wins, any team that we face is heading to Baltimore. We're the number 1 seed.
I know. I'm just saying.
So I can't remember the 4 team, but just look, the 4 teams, the Dolphins. Thank you. I think it was the Dolphins. All 4 teams, we should have no problem beating. We should have no problem. Look, I'm knocking on wood as I say this.
I'm gonna remind you, like I reminded you before, that the Steelers have beaten you twice so far this year.
Yes, correct. That is correct. And the first one, we weren't resting our guys. Right. But no, listen.
Some of them were confused about that in that first game.
This isn't a question of, man, is the other team like, are we going to beat the other team? We're better than the other teams that we could possibly play. Right.
Yeah, they've beaten all of them.
Yes. The only question is, are we going to be prepared? That's the only question. And that's the doubt that a lot of people have. That's the doubt. That's kind of the doubt that I think Lamar had, which is why he didn't want to rest, right? He wanted to play in that last game because he didn't want to have 2 weeks off, right? Because he didn't say it, but he kind of said it without saying it. How about don't be having these teams prepared, stuff like this, right? If we were coming off the bye and we had to play the Chiefs on the road, yeah, we're gonna be ready, right? Harbaugh make sure we're ready for those games. But a home game, number 1 seed, and I mean,
and Joe Flacco coming to town, Joe Cool,
yeah,
or Mason Rudolph,
yeah, So I just, we'll see. But again, look, you see a lot of these coaches being fired or retiring. Some of them are surprised. I just saw right before I came on air that Doug Peterson got fired.
Oh, I didn't even see that. He did.
He got fired.
Good. He should have. Man, because you know what? I don't like that whole we were terrible, or they weren't even terrible. We were worse than expected. We didn't.
All right, because thanks for coming through, man. Have a good night at work.
Expectations. So I'm gonna fire my entire staff to save myself. I hate that.
Yeah. Antonio says nothing about watching this team lets me think we won't be locked in and prepared for whoever is coming to Baltimore. I agree. Like again, Antonio, we've been doing this for a long time. Okay, as fans, we've been doing this for a long time. We say, they're gonna be ready. They're gonna be locked in. But it's those teams that we expect to just stomp on that we aren't ready for. Like we gotta play Houston. We're just a flat out better team than Houston. Yeah, CJ Stroud looks really good. They're a good young team, right? But this ain't a young man's game. This is a grown man's game. Right, so we should be able to handle them no problem. The Browns, I think the Browns had the best defense in the league. I think they're a little bit better than ours, not by much, but I think they're better than ours. But they got Joe Flacco. You know what I'm saying? Like we should have no problem beating them coming to our house. But those are the games that Harbaugh falls asleep at the wheel at. That's what makes me nervous. Lamar is going to be locked in. I think that whole team is going to be locked in. Is Harbaugh going to be locked in? That's the thing that kind of makes me a little bit nervous. But this does feel different. This isn't 2019. This is not 2019. Lamar is more experienced. He's better. I know it's hard to think of that coming off of the season he had in 2019, but he's a better player. The defense is better. And that's why I feel like we shouldn't have any problem really with any of these teams. I don't feel like some of these games might be close, but I just feel like we're better than every team that we'll be facing this year, including the Super Bowl. What's going on, Raven C? Says, thank you, Jose. I've been telling people Joe was left in 2012. Yeah. I'm not worried about any of these guys. Okay. Oh, and we got a donation. Shout out to KP for donation. I appreciate those dollar donations. Okay, any donation you submit to the show, man, is greatly appreciated. It says, man, the way some of these Bills fans been talking lately, I hope the Ravens beat the brakes off of them. Look, every fan base is going to have those type of fans. I'm not worried about it. The Bills do not impress me this year. And, I like Josh Allen. I like Stephon Diggs. I like what they got going on over there. But, geez, Louise, man. Like, even that game that they won on Sunday night, they didn't look good.
And the thing that's really kind of irritating about the Bills fans right now is they didn't look good because of Josh Allen. But they didn't look good because of Josh Allen. He's out there trying to throw the game away, and I don't know. They look like their window slammed shut, and they are upset and in denial.
Yeah, I watched a couple of the games this year. Only like the Dallas game, they looked impressive, and even that game, like Josh Allen didn't look great in that game.
And that's only because Dallas are big time chokers.
Yeah, Josh Allen. You look at his numbers again. This is somebody that likes Josh Allen. You look at his number; he has great numbers. But look at the games when he's getting these numbers. Yeah, he'll have 4 touchdowns, but he'll also have 3 turnovers. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you watch the game. You're not sitting there saying, "Oh man, what a masterful game." Have you seen any highlights of Josh Allen this year where you're just like, "Yeah, look at him carving up the defense," right? He'll have a highlight where he makes a nice throw because he's talented, but the whole game, the game as a whole, it's kind of lopsided. Not lopsided, but it's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Up and down. Kind of up and down. Yeah. What are you reading, B?
Well, I see a comment here from Kimberly, and Kimberly seems upset that that we didn't read her question, and I don't see any question. So
I didn't read your question. Well, here's how it works, Kimberly. We don't read all the comments on here. We pick a few here and there. Okay. And you were one of the first comments I read. You said, "What's up?" I said, "What's up?" I also responded to you in the chat. Okay. But we don't read every comment on here. That we don't. Look, we got 80 people in here. Hit that like button, by the way. Make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed. We can't read every single comment, right? You've been a long time listener, so we appreciate that. But if you have to be heard, there are 2 ways. Okay, submit a question, or you can read it in the submitted questions segment. Okay. Also, our version of the super chat. Okay, and how we do super chat over here, 2 ways. One right below B, $ LBHT Show. That is the Cash App. Okay. Also, the pin link that you see in the chat box will take you to our Stream Elements page. Both of those ways, leave your donation, leave your comment, and I guarantee you, I will read it. Okay. Just like KP did. You ain't got to spend a whole lot of money. He gave $1, read it. Okay. So, Kimberly, there is no disrespect. No disrespect. All right. But I cannot read all of your comments. I can't read all of anybody's comments on here. All right. You guys have been growing this community, and we appreciate it. But as this community grows, it's just impossible for us to read every single comment on here. All right. So salute to you. Salute to you. Chocolate Cat said Josh Allen is a suspect racist. I'm not going to argue that. When I say I like Josh Allen, I don't know him as a person. I'm just talking about his game. Look, he made some questionable comments, okay, on Twitter, just like Hard R Ricard. All right.
But his comments were quotes from a TV show.
Who?
Josh Allen.
Yeah, that's what he said. Oh yeah. I blamed it on rap music, right? It was gangster rap. And,
no. I thought about when he posted like a quote from Modern Family. If you ain't white, you ain't right, or something like that. I forget what that one or another one. But
I thought he made some other. This is back when he was in high school, I think, right?
I don't know.
This is back when he was in high school, but so was Ricard's comments. So, we're not letting him off the hook. All right. So Chocolate Lady Cap, you make a fair point there. Okay. I have a bigger problem with this coach though. Okay. And trying to say that Cam Newton, brought down the team, sabotaged the team. The same Cam Newton who helped him put him in a position to get a head coaching job, because if Cam Newton wasn't there,
immediately said, let me find the next Cam Newton.
Yeah. So I have a bigger problem with him. Okay. I was kind of hoping they didn't make the playoffs just so they can fire him. I don't want to see that guy again. All right. So anyway, coaching candidates. Mike McDonald, y'all, just be prepared. Just be prepared for him to be gone. And to me,
and be happy for him, unlike you Ravens fans normally are when people leave the organization. Okay.
Yeah. For me, I'm not worried about it. We do a good job of finding defensive coordinators. Now, will the next one be as good as him? Probably not. He's damn good, right?
Next one gonna be Wink.
He better not come back here. You better not. but probably not. But he's gonna be good. He'll be good enough. Okay, we have a lot of young talent here. Will we be as dominant as we were this year? Probably not. And even if Mike McDonald were to stay, you can't rely on that.
No.
To have a dominant defense year in and year out, you have to invest way too much, and we have to stop investing in defense. Hashtag defund the defense.
Right, because Patrick Queen's going to be gone. Geno Stone's going to be gone. Justin Madubuike may be gone. So, yeah, you shouldn't expect the defense to be as good as they were this year, but they're still going to be a top defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a special year this year. Celebrate it, appreciate it, but you can't expect that year in and year out. Okay. Lamar is who you're relying on at the ultimately to win these games. So make the investment on that side of the ball, because if we do what we need to do on that side, protect Lamar, get him some weapons, get him protection on the O-line, he's going to keep you in every single game. He's going to win most of his games, no matter what that defense looks like. Right? If it gets into a shootout, it's not going to be a problem. Lamar's going to keep up with the other team. Right? But like I said, if the defense falls off a little bit, we're still going to be a top 10 defense. I have no doubt about that. So that side, not worried about. Also not worried about Todd Monken. If Todd Monken were to get a job, so what? He wasn't the best. He was, and this is not a shot. This is not a shot at Todd Monken. I think Todd Monken has done a good job. Yeah. Right. I actually appreciate what he's done this year. He's taken that kind of laid back approach, or hands off approach, if you will. Hey, what do you like to do? You want to do this? Okay, we'll implement more of that. He kind of catered to what Lamar wants to do, and just kind of hands off. I'm gonna let you do your thing out there, and that's great. I'm not trying to downplay that, but Todd Monken was not the best candidate. Okay, he's not this offensive genius. He wasn't the best man for this job. Okay, so if he were to get a job, we can find better for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. So I'm definitely not worried about that. If he stays cool, he works well with Lamar. He's not getting in his way like Greg Roman. That's great. But he's not the best person for that job. We can definitely do better. Todd is 100% replaceable, Danny. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. Okay. Keep Queen over Madubuike. Keep none of them.
If you were going to keep one, you'd want to keep Madubuike. You want a guy who can provide pressure up the middle and kind of cave in that pocket. Like Patrick Queen, he plays very well next to Roquan, but you can go out and get another linebacker who will play well next to Roquan.
Yep.
Finding a player who can disrupt the quarterback from the middle is a lot more difficult than replacing Patrick Queen.
And Kimberly, I see your comment, Kimberly. You're wondering about the Panthers, what they're going to do in 2024 season. We're going to talk about that in the Panthers segment. We had some because they had to kind of overhaul their whole front office. We're going to talk about that. Don't worry. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. We're going to talk about that. All right. But I be saying, said you wouldn't tag Madubuike. You wouldn't tag him? No. Listen, I would love to keep all those players. Right. If this was a no cap world, like it should be, there should not be a salary cap. I would say keep all of them. I like Patrick Queen a lot. I like Madubuike a lot. I like, I like our defense. I would say keep all of them. But if we had to make choices here, if we have to make decisions, if we have a certain amount of money that we got to play around with, if we want to pretend that the cap is real, because we keep saying the cap isn't real, right? You can find a way to make it work. But if we're going to play that game and we don't want to kick the can down the road, right? And we want to play by the book, then no, you don't tag him, you don't re-sign him. And here's why. your friend and mine, EDC, right? EDC, you guys love EDC? You like EDC? You think he's doing a great job? I see some people on Twitter, they're taking victory laps for EDC, how good of a job he's doing with drafting and just filling in holes and just doing a great job putting this team together. It's a Super Bowl caliber team. That, for sure. I'll give him credit for that, right? A little bit, because he didn't draft Lamar. But he put together this team now and look how great of a job he's doing. Okay, well, let's take a look at it. He didn't sign McAfee. He signed Broderick Washington. So right there, he made his choice, okay, of Broderick Washington over McAfee. He also drafted Travis Jones. So there's your replacement right there. Oh, he also re-signed Michael Pierce. So those are your guys right there, okay? Patrick Queen, the minute they traded for Roquan, it was over for Patrick Queen. They made their choice of what they wanted to do at linebacker. They're not paying 2 linebackers, right? And they just paid Roquan $100 million. So Patrick Queen is 100% gone. He is gone. Okay. Geno Stone. Obviously, Geno Stone, I mean, very good, but we have our safeties there. Okay. Even cornerback. I don't want us going out there spending money on a cornerback. How many cornerbacks have we drafted? Brandon Stevens, 3rd round, and he's doing good. Okay. Pepe Williams, Jalen Armour-Davis, okay, in 4th rounds. Yeah, look, they haven't shown it yet, but maybe they break out like Brandon Stevens. But also Sean Wade, we drafted him and cut him. Drafted and cut him. But you put a lot of draft picks there. Okay. Travis Jones is a 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
Madubuike, 3rd round pick. Oh, we even get to edge rushers. Edge rushers, we have, we're talking about bringing back Clowney and Kyle Van Noy. Nope. Let them both go. We spent the 1st round pick on Owe, 2nd round pick on Ojabo. Okay. Now, I know you guys are thinking, well, those guys aren't as good as the guys we want to keep. Hey, I'm looking at 1st round, 2nd round, couple 3rd rounds, couple 4th round picks. These are high draft picks that EDC has been using or wasting. Okay. If we don't have any expectation of these guys to perform, Caillou Blue Kelly, that's another one. Yes, Big Reg. yes. Caillou Blue Kelly was another one. Trenton Simpson was a 3rd round pick. Just as last year, he had, he did well on Sunday. But see, Clinton says you need to re-sign Clowney. No, we don't. There has to be some expectation of performance from these draft picks, high draft picks. We're not talking about, none of these guys I named were drafted in 5th, 6th, or 7th round. Okay. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, couple of 4ths. Okay. If we're not expecting these guys to be anything, then we need to stop letting EDC letting him get away with wasting our picks. He keeps trading back to acquire more picks, to waste them on talent that never plays or we're not or not expected to perform. So rip the Band-Aid off, let Owe and Ojabo go out there, and if they can play, great. If not, you tell EDC, you better start doing better. Okay. We can't keep burying these young guys under veterans because we feel like these guys aren't ready to play yet. Make them go out there and play.
Yeah. And I would ask the people in the chat who are saying, you got to keep Queen, you got to keep Madubuike. Okay, I understand you feeling that way. But the question I'll ask you is, what are you going to do on the offensive line? You have $19 million in cap room right now. If Odell retires, you have no cap room. Because he's going to be $19 million in I believe it's $19 million in dead money if he quits. Obviously they can extend him and kind of head that off. But
thank you, Antonio.
You have $19 million in cap room. If you sign Patrick Queen, you sign Madubuike, they're not coming cheap, right? What are you going to do? Because all of you have also told us that you have to get rid of Ronnie Stanley. Now, cutting Ronnie Stanley opens up, I think it's like $5 or $6 million. And then you have a hole at left tackle. You have a hole at left guard. You have a hole potentially at right guard. I think, you need, even if you think Kevin Zeitler can play another season, you need to be finding his replacement. And you need to find a replacement for Morgan Moses at right tackle as well. Yeah. So I don't know. how y'all are thinking, hey, we're going to go ahead and pay these. I mean, I hate to say secondary players, but I mean, Patrick Queen is the number 2 to Roquan. You already paid Roquan, right?
Yes.
How are you going to pay those guys and protect Lamar? And which one you think is more important?
Yeah. Let's see. Brandon says Baltimore Ravens only going to have 2 middle linebackers next year. It's easy to pick up a middle linebacker. It's not 2
middle linebackers anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we might have 2 signed, but you can get anybody anywhere. Like you have your top guy. You have Roquan Smith signed. That's the main thing, right? And he's playing very well. Okay. Whether it's what's his name that came in? Who's the guy we drafted?
Simpson.
Whether it's Trenton Simpson that fills that spot, or you get another veteran until Trenton Simpson is ready to go. That doesn't matter as much. That's the second play. That doesn't matter as much. Roquan is your top guy. All right. Cornerback, you still have Marlon Humphrey out there. Brandon Stevens played well. Okay. You expect him to step up, maybe be that number 2 spot, but you don't need to go out and spend a whole lot of money on another corner. And our safeties are great. We're talking about the guys that are leaving. Let's talk about the guys that are staying. Marcus Williams been playing with one arm all season, playing pretty well. Mm-hmm. Literally one arm. He can't even lift his arm up, but he's playing really well. So I expect him to come back 100% and playing great. Kyle Hamilton is the best safety in the league. Okay. So we're good in the secondary. Okay. Will we have holes? Yeah, everybody has holes, but we have some very good talent on that side of the ball, even with the talent that's leaving. And guess what? You can still draft some guys in the later rounds if you want. Or, you can move some money around and pick up some veterans to fill in some spots here and there, but let the young guys play. If you don't like Owe, if you don't like Ojabo, then you need to start finding a real replacement. Okay. Clowney is a temporary guy. He's not going to play he might play for a little bit longer, but he won't be playing at a high level for much longer. He's been in the league for a while now.
Right.
So, and we were saying the same thing about Justin Houston last year, because Justin Houston had a very good year last year. And we're like, we got to keep him. How's he look now? Not great.
Right. And Tyrone, to answer your question, he's saying, how do the 49ers and Eagles pay people? They pay people by having not had to pay their quarterbacks. That's how it goes in the NFL. 49ers still haven't paid Brock Purdy. They can't for another year or so, I believe. Jalen Hurts got his contract, but his cap hit this year was about $13 million. It's going up to $21 million next year. Lamar, his cap is getting ready to jump. So they're not going to have the same kind of flexibility. You just have to prioritize the players that you want to keep. And the reality is, the most important thing that you can do is protect Lamar Jackson. You saw what your team looks like with Tyler Huntley. And I'm not even talking about just last week. You've seen it the last couple of years. So if Lamar's taking unnecessary hits and he gets hurt, what is it going to matter that you have Patrick Queen and Justin Madubuike? It won't. You all know it won't, because you'll be running out Malik Cunningham or Tyler Huntley or, God forbid, Josh Johnson again, whoever it is, and you're not going to beat anybody. You have to prioritize protecting Lamar, and they have a lot of holes on that O-line to fill.
Yeah, and to B's point, this is why I say Lamar is what makes this team go, not anybody on defense. If something happens to Roquan Smith, he's out for the season, we still expect to win, right? We say, man, it's a big hit, but we still got Lamar. We can still win. We can still win games. Something happens to Marcus Williams or Kyle Hamilton, sucks, right? They're excellent players. They make plays, but you still expect to win. Lamar goes down. That is the season. It's over and done with. And what did I say last week? I said, anytime Lamar is not in the game, it's trash time. It's garbage time. It is garbage time. That's all you're doing. You're just filling in time, because you're not going anywhere without Lamar. So if that's the case, you want to make sure the person that's expected to take you to the promised land has everything he needs to carry you there. Everything else is secondary.
Yeah. And to be even more clear, because yes, we talk about the cap isn't real, and it's not. You can sign the players if you want to sign the players, right? Like, you can find ways. But the reality is that Eric DaCosta has drafted, I believe, 7 offensive linemen and he's gotten one reliable offensive lineman to this point. And that's Tyler Linderbaum. They got one season out of Ben Powers, and then he left. Right. Every other offensive lineman they've drafted has been a bust.
Okay. John Miller says you just taking away from Snoo's trade value with that talk.
Well, John, joke's on you. I am not a Ravens fan. So anyway, you can't look and say, hey, we'll replace them O linemen in the draft, because Eric DeCosta has not proven that he can do that. Quite the opposite. He has shown that he can get defensive linemen in the draft. He has shown that he can get linebackers in the draft to an extent. So I mean, if you're Baltimore and you see, hey, we've got a hole at left guard, we've got a potential hole at right guard, and we need to replace our tackles, you're not going to trust Eric DeCosta to go out there and make those and replace those with young players right now, because it doesn't seem like he or the scouts really have their finger on the pulse of what they need at those spots. Like their guys just have not worked out.
Yeah. Clot says, hell no. Did y'all see how the defense looked against the Steelers week 18? They look really good. They gave up 17 points. Yeah. If you hold a team to 17 points, you're supposed to win, right? I'm not sure. What you mean to say, did you see how the offense looked? Now, don't take anything from that game. We weren't trying to win the game. We went out there in a vanilla preseason type of offense. Okay. We weren't trying to show our hand in any kind of way, and we weren't starting anybody really. So 17 points in the rain. Listen, you hold a team to 17 points. You did your job. Okay. I mean, this is a scoring league. You're going to give up some touchdowns here and there, but all in all, they played just fine. But that game didn't mean anything at all. I even give Snoop a pass for that game. They're not, they weren't trying to call a game plan to win it. It's just a very vanilla offense, so nobody would get hurt, right? And they accomplished their mission for the most part. A couple of people got dinged up, but nothing serious. That's all it is. That's right. Vanilla, like vanilla ice cream. You got it, I be saying. You got it. That's some quick emoji. That's a quick emoji game. Salute to you. Yeah, so don't take anything away from that week 18 game, man. That doesn't mean anything at all. If you're a Tyler Huntley fan, that doesn't tell you anything. If you're not a Tyler Huntley fan, doesn't tell you anything. That's another game.
Hey, Clyde, did you like the way you looked on offense?
Right.
He said he didn't like the way they looked on defense in that game. Did you like the way the offense looked?
Living Legend said pause. What did I say that was pause worthy? Y'all be pausing everything these days, man. Good evening. Pause. What was the pause button for? You got to hit the replay on that. I don't know. Okay, but yes, when we come off the bye, we should be ready to go. We should be healthy. Will Mark Andrews be back or not? I don't know, man. Do y'all want Mark Andrews back? That's a question. That's a question. The honest question. And this is not to say Isaiah Likely's better. I don't think Isaiah Likely's better. But look how this offense has been buzzing without Mark Andrews. Do you and for next year? Cool. 100% healthy. Mark Andrews, I'm cool with him. He's the better. He is better, Clint. I agree. He is better. There's no argument there. But is he better for us right now if he's not 100%? That's my only question.
If Keaton Mitchell is what he looked like in those few games, right? If he comes back healthy and that's who he is, and you've got Zay Flowers, and obviously you've got Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews is a luxury.
I'm talking about for this run, just for the playoffs.
Oh yeah, for this run, sure. I mean, all hands on deck.
I'm saying if he's not 100%.
How many percents is he? If he's like 90%, then yeah. I mean, if he's 37%, then probably not. I don't know. if he's healthy and ready to go, if he's healthy and ready to go, then yes, he plays.
Yes, I would say yes. If he's even if he's not 100%, but he's ready to go, like it's not going to really affect him. Get him out there. He's the better tight end. If he's not 100%, yes. Thank you, Antonio. If he's less than 85%, nah, I'm good. Because he's not the most disciplined player out there. Can we say that? Can we say that?
Yeah, but I don't know if you can put that on him. I mean, they didn't have any receivers, and they told him go get open.
Yes,
so you're gonna go get open, right?
Yeah, but you're running in front of routes for
James Prochet ain't got no right to no place on that turf. All right, that's all Mark Andrews territory. All right, Tylan Wallace does not have a right to any spot on that field. He needs to get out of Mark's way.
Yeah.
Now that's different with Odell and Zay and Rashad and even Nelson, but with them guys you had before.
Is it likely Andrews will play? I don't know. They talked about him possibly coming back. I'm not sure how close he is, but they're saying it's possible. I mean, we're not playing this week, so it's another week to rest up. I don't know how close he is to returning. I haven't heard about him practicing. I don't know, but I just know they said that was a possibility. So, but that did come from Harbaugh, and he's a liar, so he's probably done for the season. Over 100 people in here. Go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're new, hit the subscribe button. And if you are looking for the super chat, and I know you are, I know you're looking, you're like, where is it? Let me guide you in the right direction. Right below B, $ LBHT Show. That is the Cash App. Also, that pin link that you see in the chat box will take you to our Stream Elements page. Both ways, leave your donation, leave your comment, and you get a nice little animation right here. Microphone Man will salute you. All right. And we'll read your comment on air. Okay, listen, we'll read a couple more comments, and then we'll go over to, do you want to get right into the Panthers, or do you want to open up the court? We have a couple of cases.
I think we go into the Panthers.
All right, let me read a couple more comments here, and then we'll get going. Clinton says likely is faster and way better after the catch. He is better after the catch. There's no question about that. Andrews be running in quicksand. Andrews is more physical. Even though he has a case of the dropsies, I think he makes tougher catches. Right? He's just harder. I think he's harder for those linebackers and safeties to deal with when he's out there. That's a big dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
Likely ain't no, he's not no tiny receiver, but likely when he gets the ball, he can definitely do more. He's more fluid. He can do more after the catch. But who's the better tight end? It's Andrews.
Yeah,
it's Andrews.
Right now.
For now. Ghost, what's going on? Ghost of Supreme says when need Patrick Queen, or you're saying we need Patrick Queen, we always have two elite middle linebackers. We've never had two elite middle linebackers. Never, ever have we had two elite middle linebackers at the same time. That has never happened in the history of the Ravens organization. You have been tricked. And if you who when Ray Lewis was playing, who was the other elite middle linebacker?
Like Peter Bowler was very good.
He wasn't a middle linebacker. He was an outside linebacker.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I'm just talking about it. Even if you want to say another outside or another off-ball linebacker, like, he was very good, but he wasn't an elite linebacker. Jamie Sharper was good. He wasn't an elite linebacker. They haven't had any other elite linebackers on the. Donnell Ellerbe was not an elite middle linebacker.
I love Bart Scott. I love Bart Scott. He wasn't an elite linebacker.
No,
very, very good. He was good with the Jets. He was not elite. He was not elite, but very good. I did like Bart Scott.
And listen, Patrick Queen's not elite. I mean, listen.
No.
If he was playing better before Roquan got there, for sure. But I mean, if you look at the totality of his career, he was not very good prior to Roquan showing up.
Right. Yeah. See, Bart Scott. People were elite looking. Yeah, they were elite looking. Exactly, Antonio. He said people were elite looking playing next to Ray. Look at them on other teams. Exactly. Bart Scott's the only one that kind of stood up, but like Ghost, he's typing in all caps. Bart Scott was not elite.
But and listen, that's why you get elite players, because they make other guys look that good.
Yes,
they're not.
Yeah. Look, Queen is a monster. He is playing next to Roquan. Can he do it on his own? Listen, man. This is why we didn't want to draft Patrick Queen. Period. This is why we didn't want to draft Owe. Period. This is why we said on draft night that those were bad picks, because when you spend 3 to 4 out of your 5 years on your rookie deal not doing anything, and then in your last year or your last 2 years, you break out, there leaves that question of, is he really that guy? Okay. If you're drafting somebody in the first round, especially to replace CJ Mosley, especially to replace him, if you're drafting a linebacker to replace CJ Mosley in the first round, he needs to start playing well immediately. Yeah. Right. And by his second year, there is that B word was floating around. Is he a bust? Okay. Last year, he wasn't playing. I mean, he was playing better, but not good enough for us to say, you know what, we don't need Roquan Smith. We had to get Roquan Smith. Okay. If he was playing to that level, we wouldn't trade for Roquan Smith. So we can't call him elite. He's playing great right now next to Roquan. The question is, can he do that when Roquan's not there? They're not going to pay to find that out. So, yeah, I mean, he has to go and ball out somewhere else. And look, he's young. Maybe he is that guy. He's not elite. Not yet. He got to go out there and do it on his own. I can't call him that yet. You still need Batman? You mean Bateman or?
No, he's saying you need Roquan.
Oh yeah. Breakout year to me should be round 3 and up. Yeah. You can't take 3 years. If you spend even a second round pick, can't take 3 years. Right? You have 5 years, 4 to 5 years with these guys on a rookie deal. You can't spend, 3/4 of it looking average at best. And then in your last year, you blow up. That's why Matt Beke ain't going to be here. Right? Matt Beke just like, all right, he's all right. And in his contract year, he blows up. We don't know if that's real or not. And we're not going to spend the money on it. And you shouldn't spend the money on it. I'll back EDC on that. You shouldn't spend the money on that. You got to play better than that earlier.
Okay, well, first off, you need to stop with the all caps. But he says it takes time to get to the elite level. So with that logic, Ray Lewis wasn't elite. Cool. Now, so what you're saying, when you say this, it takes time to get to the elite level. If Baltimore wins the Super Bowl this year, they did it without 2 elite middle linebackers, right? So they don't need 2 elite middle linebackers, right? Because he's not there yet because it takes time. And it doesn't take time for everybody, by the way. I mean, I'm a fan of Carolina. It didn't take Luke Kuechly in at that time. And they didn't have to bring in somebody to play next to Luke Kuechly to get him to play that way. All right. And also, again, I would like you to go back and look at your last Super Bowl roster and tell me who the other elite middle linebacker was on that team.
All right. So Ray Lewis, you said it took time for him to become elite. He was the AP Defensive Rookie of the Year, 110 total tackles, 95 solo tackles, 2.5 sacks. That's his first year. Second year, 184 tackles, 156 solo tackles, 4 sacks. Defensive Player of the Year. Pro Bowl, when Pro Bowls mattered. That was his second year. And of course, I mean, I don't have to keep going down the line because it only gets better. All right. He was elite from the jump. That's why he's arguably the best middle linebacker of all time. Okay. Mm-hmm. You could have used some other examples that help make your case. Don't use Ray Lewis as that. Ray Lewis was born that way. All right. But yes, I
that was also Luke Kuechly, mind you, who won Defensive Player of the Year in his second year.
Yeah, but I do see your point. Some players, it takes a little time. Everybody's not the same. I do see your point. But when you spend a first round pick on them, those players that you're talking about, they don't get drafted in the first round. The ones that are, they took a little time to develop and then they blew up into this top player. They don't get drafted in the first round. First round picks have higher expectations. Second round picks still have high expectations. First, second, and third round picks to me have high expectations. Third round can take a little bit more time to develop. But your first and second round picks need to show you something immediately. They're not the best version of themselves, but they need to show you that they can be out there on the field. They shouldn't be playing behind old wily vets. Right? Yeah. We're talking about Owe. I mean, they said when they drafted Owe that he needed some development. Why are you wasting a first round pick on him? You don't take players like that in the first round. And now we see why. Because nobody even wants him on the field. third year. This is third year, right?
Yeah.
Third year. Ojabo, who had first round talent, I was told. Now, he's been hurt. Unfortunately, injuries happen. But going into next year, I'm saying, hey, we don't need to resign Kyle Van Noy. We can just let Ojabo play. Y'all don't want to see that, right? Don't waste the pick. This year, we need to either trade up and get a real talent that we feel comfortable putting out there, right? Or play the guys that you draft. Right. Third rounders are contributors. Fourth on down. You said fourth on down are projects. Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. All right, let's move on because we're hitting an hour here soon. We got to start moving this along. Panthers. Okay. This is a Ravens and Panthers show. Okay. I'm the Ravens fan. B is a Panthers fan. Okay. And the Panthers. They are in the middle of an overhaul on the front office. Okay, they are.
Hold on a second. I'm sorry. And he's saying, I know you see these Thomas Davis comments. Don't be acting like Ray Charles. Do you think that Thomas Davis was better than Luke Kuechly?
Wait. Is
that what y'all are trying to say?
Wait, what are you trying to say about Thomas Davis?
Dude was talking about how Carolina had Thomas Davis as if he were an elite player. Like he had a couple of great years, right? But he was not that guy. He wasn't Luke Kuechly. He wasn't Ray Lewis. He wasn't, what's his name? From the 49ers, Patrick Willis. Like I don't know why you all think that every time you see a good player on your team, they're elite. That's not what that word means. He was a one-time All-Pro player.
Yes. He had a stretch, but that was later in his career. Right. And guess
after
what?
After he started playing with Luke Kuechly.
Yeah. And guess what? He wasn't getting those big contracts either. Right? Hey, look who's here. Oh, Clint.
What about Peppers, Ghost? He don't play middle linebacker?
Yeah, but again, Peppers, you could argue was an elite player from the jump.
He was
from the jump. All right, so that's the whole argument. What's up, Yolanda?
Good evening, everyone. Hi, LBHT family. How's everyone doing?
Hey, welcome.
Thank you. I am here for one reason. Well, not just one reason, but I am here for one primary reason, and that's because today is my day to have in court public opinion.
Okay, so I wasn't sure this was going to be in the overtime show because I know you were busy, but you're here.
It may have to be another day for Yolanda because Hendo is not here.
We can proceed without him. He wasn't going to represent me anyway.
No. He said that he was going to be prosecuting. As you well know. So and since you're on trial, you will not be. You're not running things now. I'm going to go ahead and say
the judge and the jury.
No, that's not how that works. So I'm going to say that we're going to postpone your trial until next week or whenever Hendo is available. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow.
Wait, Hendo's not here. He's not here at all. He's not going to be available for overtime.
I don't think so. He's got some things going on.
Okay.
Ghost. I'm gonna tell you again. You gotta turn off the caps lock, bro.
Oh yeah. Ghost. Yes. We gotta be fair. No caps lock. No, you can't type in all caps. No, what's going on?
I say we.
No all caps. Okay, we'll forgive you this time.
He knew about this. This case was docketed.
Well, no, he had there were extenuating circumstances.
You are there on this upcoming Wednesday because we have a very important trial that we need to, have proceed through the docket, and so I want to make sure that justice is rightly served.
Yeah, there are extenuating circumstances, and being Your Honor this week, I gave him a pass, and we're gonna have a continuance until next Wednesday.
Okay, all right. We're going to get into some Panthers
you
talk.
You don't get to object. You're on trial.
All right. Before we get
there, what they say about the people who have themselves as a client.
An attorney who hires himself as a lawyer has a fool for a client.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Look, we hit the hour mark. We gotta speed this up. But Yolanda, you're a Ravens fan. We want to get your opinion on a couple things. How do you feel, all right, about our coaches possibly getting poached? Mike Macdonald and Todd Monken.
I do not want Mike Macdonald to leave.
Me neither.
I'd love a scenario where he can stay. But of the two, I think he's the most marketable. And Todd Monken, I don't know that he has necessarily earned it. I think he came into a situation that was, when you walk into a Lamar Jackson, you walk into something that's already put together. Certainly, we needed key pieces to surround Lamar to become like the best version of ourselves. Absolutely. But you still have to remember that I don't know how much of this I can attribute to Todd Monken. While I will certainly give him his flowers when he does well and when he's calling great plays and schemes, and the fact that he told Lamar, I'm going to give you the keys to this offense. It's basically yours to mess up, but I believe in you. So, I mean, the fact that he entrusts, Lamar with that is it says a lot, because certainly our last offensive coordinator did not. But of the two, Mike Macdonald would be to me the biggest loss. I think Todd Monken, he could be replaceable. I think he's fungible.
Tyrone says justice delayed is justice denied. And you know what, Tyrone, you're correct. Yolanda, guilty.
All right, we're all right. Let's get into some Panthers talk. Okay, real quick, or we can take a little time. It's up to you, B. You're the Panthers fan.
Yes.
But they have some moves to make. Yolanda, I'm gonna. So while you're not talking, I'm gonna put you on mute only because there's some air in your back. I'm not sure if it's your AC or what. It's not loud, but your mic picks it up, and StreamYard doesn't like two people talking, so it drowns us out. No, you're fine. No, don't change anything. Don't change anything. Whenever you want to talk.
Something I think I know exactly what it is.
Okay, no problem. It's a minor thing, but I know it's the last week that sometimes it drowns us out. Not a big deal. But you didn't have to go. She didn't have to go. I scared her away. Yeah. But all right, Panthers. Let's get some Panthers going. Also, we still have 100 people in here. Hit that like button. If you're new, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We are trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. We are less than 200 away. I know we can do it by the time Lamar Jackson holds up the Lombardi Trophy and the Super Bowl MVP trophy. Okay, he's going to have both of them. All right, we need 2,000 subscribers before that happens. All right,
Gus has something to say about it. But on to the Panthers. They fired Scott Fitterer, their GM. I mean, GM in name, right? I mean, he wasn't a decision maker in Carolina. He was a yes man. And came in as that because Matt Rule was the guy who was making the decisions prior to getting fired there. So now they're looking for a coach and a GM. They have requested interviews with about, I think, 17 different people across those two positions. And it seems like they're looking at a good mix of people. I don't know why they asked to interview Todd Monken, but whatever. But they're interviewing some defensive candidates, some offensive candidates. They called New England about Bill Belichick to see what that situation is. They said everything is status quo at this point. The one person that I know or that we've heard is interested in the head coaching job in Carolina is the one person they're not interested in talking to, and that is national champion Jim Harbaugh. Wow.
Live a legend, man. Just always on time with these comments. I can't read that out loud.
But thank you. It's accurate. So yeah, I don't know where, I mean, obviously the talk out there is that David Tepper wants Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator from the Detroit Lions. They went after him last year. He declined a second interview. And said he was staying in Detroit. He wanted to finish what he started there and all that. I took that as he was not interested in the Carolina Panthers job. But he says that's not it. He turned down everybody, and he just wanted to stay in Detroit for another year. But then he came out and said, he would be looking for like $15 million a year was the report, which I also, again, took as I don't want to be the Panthers coach. So I think that they should widen their net a bit, and not get so set on Ben Johnson that they just give him a blank check, kind of like they did with Matt Rule. But I think, Ben Johnson would be a great addition. I think he's done a fantastic job in Detroit under Dan Campbell there. He's gotten Jared Goff going. I honestly didn't think anybody but Sean McVay could get Jared Goff playing to a respectable level, but he's done it. They're in the playoffs. He's incorporated a lot of rookies. Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta both, I believe, had 8 touchdowns this year. So they have a young offense, but he's got them all working together. They've been playing very well. So I mean, that would be a nice hiring if they can make it happen. They just requested permission to interview Brian Johnson, the OC in Philadelphia, and Eagles fans reacted by saying that they think that Carolina must not like Bryce Young and they must not like winning. I think they're just a little bitter that their quarterback's a fraud, but that's just me.
First of all, Jalen Hurts isn't a fraud, but I've heard this criticism of Brian Johnson since last year from a couple of Philly fans. Philly fans, first of all, they don't like much. Okay.
He wasn't even the coordinator last year.
But definitely this year, I've heard from a couple. They just not fans of him, and this is before the losing even started. They weren't fans of him. This is not they're mad in the moment. They just don't like him. But this is interesting right here. I want to read this. Shout out to Agnes. Thanks for coming through. She says they asked Todd because he's better than what was there. Now this is interesting. I want to get your opinion on this because while Frank Reich didn't do a good job this time around, he's had some success in the league. I'm gonna read this comment in a minute. But do you think Tom Monken would be a better head coach? We're not talking about offensive coordinator here. We're talking about head coach. You think he'd be a better head coach than Frank Reich? Now, before you answer that, B, let me read this from Ann Rob. Appreciate the donation. Salute to you. Says, what's your realistic hope to rebuild the Panthers? All right, we'll answer both questions here in a minute, but let's start with Agnes's comment here. And I'm gonna ask you, B, you think Todd Monken would be a better coach than Frank Reich?
No, I don't think so. Todd Monken, I think he was a guy who's been through the cycle already. He was a hot name before, and just he hasn't really gotten the job done. He had to go down to college to kind of rebuild his rep and come back out to Baltimore. But look, whether he's a better coach than Frank Reich isn't the question, because Frank Reich got fired. The question is whether he's a better coach than Ben Johnson and Jim Harbaugh and Bill Belichick and Mike Vrabel and Brian Flores. All these guys who they Dave Canales, Bobby Slowick, these guys who they are going to be interviewing, who are going to be candidates for the job. So it's not him versus Frank Reich, because Frank Reich is unemployed and they're not calling Frank Reich. Yeah. And I don't think that he's a better candidate than any of those guys that I just named, and probably some others as well, who I forgot to mention. And that's not to say that he's not a good coach. I'm not saying he's not a good coach. I just think that there are better head coaching candidates available right now, and including the other guy who they requested from Baltimore, Mike McDonald. Right. So I just don't see. I mean, look, they're going to interview everybody who's willing to interview. As they should, right? Yes,
that's a good thing. Doing your due diligence.
Yeah, and if he blows them away in an interview, and not even just them, they hired a firm, Sportsology, to help them with their GM and coaching search. So I mean, look, you go through the process, and whoever presents themselves as the best candidate, that's who you try and hire. I just don't think it's going to end up being Todd Monken.
So I was going to ask, is Yolanda? Is she back yet?
She is switching laptops, and we'll be back in a minute.
Okay. I didn't want to ignore you if you were there, Yolanda. But I was gonna bring up that firm because I want to know, what does it take to qualify as a consulting firm for these NFL teams? Like, how can LBHT, how can we be put on that list for consulting firms? Because it seems like the easiest job in the world. We give you some names, right, of some candidates, and you say, okay, yeah, thanks, I'm gonna go ahead and hire who I want, right? it seems like everybody does this. Everybody does this. They do it for draft picks. They do it for head coaching search. They do it for GM because they hired this firm to find the GM, right? But you already know who he wants as a coach.
Yeah.
Right. So why are you wasting time with this consulting firm who gives you a GM?
Because Ben Johnson don't want the Panthers shot.
Are you going to listen to them? Because we listen, Tepper. We can give you we can give you all the data you need. We can give you some names if you really want. All right. Yeah. Sign up to our Patreon. Make a healthy donation on Patreon, and we can get you right. We promise you that. All right. Yeah. For a fraction of the fee. So somebody send us to Tepper and let him know we can get him right.
They've worked with. Welcome back, Yolanda.
Hi there. Much better.
Yes.
They've worked with the 49ers. They worked with the Rams. They worked with the Eagles. They worked with the Mavericks. They worked with the Wizards. That one didn't work out. But they've worked with several MLS teams as well. And from what I've read, they've done a very good job on the MLS front. I'm not sure exactly who it was they, obviously recommended for those other teams. It's not something that they really put out.
Bingo, I'd be saying, can you say nepotism? Bingo. That's it. You're right.
But yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to criticize them for getting more opinions and like I said, doing their due diligence. Now, I gave my preferred list on Steel Conspiracy yesterday with Suge. I want an offensive-minded head coach. I would say, Jim Harbaugh. Dave Canales is high on that list. The guy who is the current offensive coordinator for the Buccaneers. He was the quarterback coach for Seattle last year. So he kind of worked with Geno in his comeback, and then obviously he's done just God's work with Baker Mayfield and what they've put out this season, right? Because I did not think that Baker Mayfield was going to be a starting quarterback much longer than 3 or 4 weeks this season. Okay?
Yeah.
Shout out to him. He's played very well. Now, Dave Canales has done a great job there.
I want to read something real quick from Big Cuz 410. Says, unrelated. I thought you had to go to work, Big Cuz. I'm pretty sure you said you had to go to work. That's okay. That's all right. He's on his lunch break. This is a lunch break hot take. He says, unrelated Ravens news, Nick Saban retiring. The reason why I bring this up is because if you go over to patreon.com/LBHT Show, after this show, we do an overtime show, okay? And we talk about all kinds of things on the overtime show. But what is tonight's topic? Oh, who did that to Nick Saban's face? Who did that? Oh, Nick Saban is in that picture. Let me play that again. Yeah, Pete Carroll's there. Pete Carroll looks a lot happier, okay? Because Pete Carroll is always thinking positively. Nick Saban, he doesn't like what's happening to his country and his college football country. Okay, he doesn't like that anymore. So he's calling it quits. He's retiring. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a lot of coaches because there's been a lot of coaching changes that's happened. Yolanda, I'm not sure if you read the news. Doug Peterson got fired. Did you hear about that?
I did. But then I saw somewhere on Twitter where it said, no, he didn't get fired. And I said, well, are they just mutually parting ways? But people are trying to make excuses. No, it wasn't a firing. But
yeah, sure. Just like Wink didn't get fired.
Right.
Wink did not get fired because he left because he was angry that they fired his boys. All right.
Here's how this went. They're like, are you angry?
But did he have his voice?
Right. Here's how it went. They're like, are you angry, Wink? He's like, yeah, I'm angry. Like, those are my boys. Do you want to quit? No, I don't want to quit. You want to quit, don't you? You want to quit? Do you want to quit? Yes. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna let you quit then.
Yeah, they gave him the option. Like, okay, either we're going to fire you or you can resign.
Thank you, because I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, overtime show. Patreon.com/LBHT Show. We're going to talk about that in the overtime show, which is going to start here. We got about another 30 minutes here. We don't do 2 hours. All right. So we got to keep this going. But yes. You had any final thoughts on what the Panthers are doing, coaching search and GM and all that stuff, Yolanda?
I don't have a lot of thoughts toward it. I just hope that whoever is in charge over there in the Panthers organization, they get it right this time. It's time for the Panthers to, it's time for them to come up now.
Oh wait, B, we had to. You didn't quite answer Aaron Rod's question. He did.
No, I was on my way to that.
Oh, okay. There it is, Aaron Rob. And I just want to point out too the perks of doing our version of Super Chat is we can bring up these comments anytime. I know in the Super Chat, I think they extended it a little bit, but you have a certain amount of time to read those comments before they disappear on the creator side. And people get really angry when they donate their money, their hard-earned money, and those content creators don't read it. You do the Cash App or you do the Stream Elements page. These comments, they're here forever. We can bring them up anytime. So don't panic if a few minutes go by, we don't read your comment. We will bring it up. We can bring it up anytime. All right.
But yeah, so like I was saying, I think that Jim Harbaugh would be, I think, number one on my list in terms of the an offensive minded head coach. Ben Johnson and Dave Canales there as well. Because I mean, Harbaugh's obviously proven himself on the collegiate and NFL level. When you look at the defensive side, Bill Belichick. I mean, look, I have fears that maybe the game's passed him by, but he's the greatest coach of all time. And if you have a chance to hire him, you're going to take that chance, right? Sure. Then Brian Flores. I think Brian Flores is a phenomenal coach, and it's well past time for him to get another job. And then, Mike Macdonald, and you'll be third on that list. And so I think that it starts there. It starts with the GM, obviously, but we don't know anything about these GM candidates, right? I mean, they haven't been GMs before. You're not in the rooms. You don't know who they were banging the table for. What their opinion is. You're going off of the GM's record when you hire these guys. So I don't really have any opinion on the GM search, but those are my preferred coaches. And in terms of how to rebuild Carolina, I mean, there's a lot. We went over it on the show yesterday as well, but the priority this offseason. Now, Brian Burns is a free agent.
Wait, before you go, don't give him too much detail because that might be a video coming out soon.
Okay? I mean, I was answering the question. They have to take care of their guys on defense who are coming up on contract. Frankie Louvu, Brian Burns. Yes. They need to work towards getting an extension done for Derek Brown. But the most important thing is getting someone for Bryce Young to throw the ball to. And for me, that's T. Higgins. You start there. Now you may not be able to get that done. He may not want to go to Carolina. Maybe he ends up staying in Cincinnati, whatever it is. Maybe he gets a better offer elsewhere. But you start there and then work your way down the list. Don't aim for the middle of your list first. Start at the top. And I think that should be T. Higgins.
Yolanda did not when you said T. Higgins, she was like, "Well, why are you trying to look at our guys?"
You're right. You guys are trying to
I heard y'all getting Justin Jefferson.
Yes. So they can have T. Higgins because we're going after Justin Jefferson.
I was going to address that first in two parts. First part is, keep your paws, all the Panther claws, the paws, keep them off of T. Higgins unless we get Justin Jefferson. If we get Justin Jefferson, feel free. Take T. Higgins. And another thing you said, Brodny, one other thing you said was Mike Macdonald. You entered his name in the conversation as a possibility. If you want Mike Macdonald, the stakes are high. We'll need Brian Burns in a first-round pick.
I think Brian Burns is going to need Mike Macdonald. Mike Macdonald going to need Brian Burns. But here's the thing, though, Yolanda. Mike Macdonald's gone, and I feel like you would prefer him ending up in Carolina as opposed to Jacksonville or somewhere else.
I'm not ready to accept that yet, okay? I'm not ready to accept it. Let's talk about it another time. Next week, maybe. I move on. I'm just not ready.
Right. Let me give a shout out here to Eric Plummer. It says, Coach sent me. Eric, let me ask you something. Did you get lost? Because Coach sent you when the show started over an hour ago. But thank you for coming through. I still appreciate you. Anytime you come, you're right on time. Thank you. But I'm just saying it's an hour ago. Well, whatever. Thanks for coming. Send some of your friends and family. All right. Yes. T. Higgins to Baltimore. He says, "Listen, obviously, I would not be angry at this, but aim higher. Okay, he's already high. Aim higher. I want Justin Jefferson. I know you guys are wondering how that's going to happen. Maybe we'll do a video on that, but we can get Justin Jefferson here. All right. Believe that. It can happen. All right. We got to move along.
Yes.
B, Yolanda. I'm afraid now. Can we play our intro? Because we got.
Yes, we can.
We can play it.
Yes.
Okay? You play the clip. Play the clip. All right, look, we're getting ready. Hold on, don't play it yet. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the court of public opinion. Now, I'm pretty sure that is the same theme song as last week that we got a copyright hit for.
But I looked into it. There wasn't supposed to be a copyright claim. It's all good. I found out how to get them taken off.
Oh, okay. All right. I already clipped it out of last week's. I'm going to sue YouTube. Okay. They're going to go on a court because they try to give our money away when they had no right to. All right. They're coming to court next week. YouTube is on trial. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, all rise. Court is now in session. Okay. If you don't know how this works, let me open proceedings by saying she's guilty. Look, we're not even getting to Yolanda. You don't even know who's on court yet. You don't even know who's on the docket. You should know. It's in the description. This is going to be rapid fire like last week. We don't have as many people this week. Some people are going to get they're going to be in a holding cell until next week, until we can get to them. Okay, but we have a couple of people on the docket for today.
No, Clint, we got better security than that lady. We got better security than her. That was not funny, by the way. That was not funny at all.
That guy is very athletic. I just want to say that.
He flew over that bench.
Yeah, that was really bad.
That was awful. That was awful.
It was. But man, that was a clip. Okay. First up, we have Pat McAfee versus not that one. Pat McAfee versus ESPN. Okay.
AJ Hawk doesn't look like a real person.
No. He looks like an AI generated character. This is from January 5th. The date is right there. So a few days ago, Pat McAfee accusing ESPN head of event and studio production. He called him up by name too. Sure Norby Williamson of sabotage. Now this is Pat McAfee versus ESPN, but Norby Williamson could countersue because these networks, they don't like that. They don't like you saying their names out loud in front of people. They don't like the talent versus talent crime, talent on talent crime. They don't like, that beat. They like to keep that in house. They don't like that type of drama to be put out there. They definitely don't like executives' names being thrown out there all willy-nilly.
Especially
now,
when that name is Norby.
Right, I'll keep that secret too. Okay, he probably doesn't even go by Norby, right? He probably did that on purpose.
It's probably much worse than he does go by Norby.
Okay, why is Pat McAfee mad? Pat McAfee, apparently he's had a long-standing beef with this guy. Okay, and numbers have been reported about the Pat McAfee show. Like his stream numbers are down. He's only getting this many views and whatnot. And these reports are not true, but they're put out there to kind of make him look bad for whatever reason. And he's very upset about it. And he contests there's only one person that could be doing this. There's only a handful of people that actually have the numbers. And Norby, my mortal enemy, is he's the main culprit. So he put him on blast. Now, we'll get your opinions on this. I already know how I feel about this. This is pretty open and shut for me. But Yolanda, how do you feel about this? One, should he have called out Norby Williamson for this? And do you think Norby had anything to do with this?
From the little I know about it, I don't think he should have called him out. I don't agree with it. Okay. But I think if Pat McAfee if his viewership is suffering, which I don't know that to be true, I don't keep up with his numbers, but if that's the case, then he needs to take an inward look to see what he's doing, why his numbers are decreasing, why his viewers are decreasing. But I don't think he was right to call someone else out.
So not to cut you off, but he's saying that his numbers aren't decreasing. His numbers are up, but these numbers are falsely reported. So he's thinking there's some sabotage. In fact, I think he said the word sabotage. He thinks that they're They are trying to sabotage him.
He doesn't have access to look at his numbers. Like
no, he has the numbers. He's saying that the numbers that are being reported out there are wrong.
Okay.
And he thinks that
fake numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got it. Yeah, I mean, I still don't like him calling someone else out. Like, I don't think he's right for that. But you know, I don't know. I'm just not a big Pat McAfee fan. Let me just say it that way. So one of the questions needs to be, can I be fair and impartial? And the answer is probably not here. So I'm going to remove myself from the jury. I'm going to move to strike myself from this.
Very fair and honest answer. But however, Yolanda, there's no need for that because this is the court of public opinion. Your personal issues with the person are 100% fair. Okay. They are what do you call them? Permissible in court. All right. We will allow it. Okay. If you do not like Pat McAfee, that plays into court of public opinion. Okay. So we'll take that into consideration 100%. We will allow it. Yeah. All right. B, what are your thoughts?
I'm right there with Yolanda. I don't like Pat McAfee at all. And I feel like, listen, I feel like it's not even his persona or his show or anything like that. It's the fact that you let that clown Aaron Rodgers go on your show every week and spout nonsense. You pay him to come on your show every week and spout nonsense. Outside of that, I don't have any problem with Pat. But you know what? You do that, and a lot of people have a problem with it, rightfully so. And maybe that's why people are leaking false numbers. You don't know that it's Norby. Look, the numbers are fake. Then it doesn't matter who has access to the numbers, right? Like they're making the number up. So you can't just say, hey, Norby's one of the people who knows the numbers, so that's why I think it's him, because he's not putting out the real numbers. Okay. You know, like I could go on here right now and just spout off some fake numbers for Pat McAfee. I don't have access to his numbers, so I don't think that's solid evidence that it's Norby. I know that he has a problem with Norby. He said back in 2018 he was supposed to have a meeting with him, and Norby stood him up. Basically, he just left him sitting in his office for like an hour, and he feels like Norby doesn't respect him. And I think that's where Pat's coming from with this. I think he's kind of predetermining, something bad happened, you know, and I think Norby did it, right? Because I don't like Norby.
Okay.
Outside of that, I think that, you know, without knowing, without having any kind of evidence that's what it was, because on the surface of it, why would ESPN be, you know, leaking false, you know, negative numbers about a show on ESPN, right? So I think he needed to do a little more digging to find out where that's coming from before just going with it live on air in a fit of rage.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you my opinion on this, right? Chat, okay, you're the jury. Now we're gonna ultimately give the ruling on this one, okay? Because we're gonna move this along. But put what you think. Do you think? And listen, it's Pat McAfee versus ESPN. So ESPN is on trial here. Okay. Do you think ESPN is guilty or not guilty? Now I'm gonna say a couple of things. One, Norby Williamson absolutely put those numbers out. Okay. ESPN has a history of this type of pettiness. Dan Le Batard has spoken about this. Jamel Hill, Michael Smith, Amin Al-Hassan, like a ton of former employees have come out and said how they operate shady behind the scenes, right? Mm-hmm. Mike Golick, another one who's spoken about this. So yes, he did it, right? Now you can't prove he did it.
Circumstantial.
But that's not the point that Pat McAfee was trying to make. He wasn't making. He doesn't care about that either. He was trying to make the point of, hey Norby, I run this show. This is my show, and I can do whatever I want on my show. Even call you out, and you can't do anything about it. Mm-hmm. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, Pat McAfee is 100% correct. You can't do anything about it. Pat McAfee owns his show. Okay, so Yolanda, it's a Pat McAfee show. ESPN is essentially renting the show. Right, but Pat McAfee owns his show. It's a YouTube show. You can go to the channel. It's there. They kind of use it. Put it on ESPN. They got him on a couple other like shows on ESPN. But Pat McAfee owns his content, And when you own your content, you could do whatever you want to do, even if you're doing a deal with somebody else. The worst they can do is say, hey, you know what? This ain't working out. We'll go our own ways. And Pat McAfee will be just fine because he's actually taking a pay cut to put his stuff on ESPN rather than do a deal with DraftKings. He took a pay cut. He is making a whole lot of money. And when you have that type of pull, yeah, I might do that too for somebody I don't like. You know what? You probably didn't put these numbers out, but I'm going to call you out anyway because I don't like you, and I can do that.
And I'm sorry.
How dare you, Big Reg?
As to juror number 127,
objection.
Otherwise known as Living Big with Big Reg, we're going to strike you from all future juries because you have a propensity to be biased.
Where's my? I need to get the gavel sound.
That seems pretty prejudicial.
Bailiff, get Big Reg out of here, please. Remove him from the court. Okay. Let's see who we got here. Oh, by the way, Pat McAfee is guilty. ESPN is guilty. Everybody is guilty. Okay. Listen, what B mentioned it earlier, and this is the other visual that I put up here. Okay. This is the other side of the story. Aaron Rodgers is suspended from appearing on ESPN's The Pat McAfee Show for the rest of the season after his beef with comedian Jimmy Kimmel. All right. Rodgers pissed off a lot of good people. Good. McAfee said he was happy Rodgers wouldn't be back on the show because of all. I cut the rest off, but yeah, he tried to put a good spin on it. Pat McAfee allowed Aaron Rodgers to go on there, spread his misinformation, and have a lawsuit threatened against him and ESPN. Pat McAfee is being reckless. Of course, Norby will want to sabotage you. You're doing reckless things out there. I would want to sabotage you. I would stand you up in a meeting. Okay. Now, I would also be petty enough to call Norby out as well. You know, that's why you're both guilty. But you're guilty as well. Stop bringing Aaron Rodgers on your show, and you're paying him. He's not even your friend. That's the crazy thing about it, right? It's one thing if you're just like, man, look, he's my friend. What I'm gonna do? He's my friend. I'm gonna let him talk. He's not even your friend. You gotta pay him to be on there. I bet you're glad that he got suspended. That's saving you some money. All right. Next up, what's up, SV Cam? Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming through. It says he allowed him to spill nonsense for $1 million. What do you mean he's happy he's not on the show? That's why, because it's costing him $1 million. He can recoup some of that money. Next up, and this is pretty open and shut for me as well. The people versus Jameis Winston. Okay, more and by people I mean Arthur Smith. Okay, Jameis Winston. You guys saw the play. He was in victory formation and handed the ball off to who was that? Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams for a touchdown. Jamal Williams. The team loves Jamal Williams. He wanted to get Jamal Williams a touchdown. Because that's the last game of the season. Everybody was on board with it. Now, except the coach. Coach didn't know anything about it, and he got some smoke from Arthur Smith because of it. And he immediately put it on Jameis. Jameis said, "Look, I'm doing it for my players." And you see right here in the comment, this is from Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp says, "I would cut Jameis Winston today. I would not want him on my team. That's losers mentality." Well, nah, because they won. Shannon Sharp unloads on Jameis Winston over late touchdown against Falcons. That is not losers mentality. They won. Okay. I'll tell you what loser mentality is. That right there. Okay. Look at that dweeb. You want to cut him because of him, right? Because of that? Because he go out there, he can't control his emotions. You got your heads kicked in. All right. All you had to do was win to give yourself a chance to make the playoffs. You couldn't do that. You lost. And you got fired. You know why? Because you're a bad coach. Okay. If you want to be upset that you didn't play Kyle Pitts more. Be upset that you didn't play what's the rookie's name? Bijan Robinson more. Be upset about those things. Be upset that you didn't use the talent that you drafted, great talent that you drafted to win games. Be upset at the owner who came out immediately and said, "I don't want Lamar Jackson here," and stuck you with Ritter and Heineke. Yell at him.
Okay, I think we've got it, counselor. Yolanda, what's your opinion on the people versus Jameis Winston?
He's not guilty. if he wants to continue to score. The only thing I have a problem with is if the coaches didn't know the plan or the next, the play. Okay, that probably should not happen. You give him a verbal reprimand, you talk to him, you let him know moving forward, this is the expectation, and it's water under the bridge. But for a team who's losing and then to get mad because another team wants to continue to score, that's crazy. That's ridiculous to the point it's offensive. So I'm going to go with, and I am not a Jameis Winston fan because he is a FSU. He's from FSU. So I totally am not here to
and it's not the first time Jameis Winston has strolled through the halls of court.
It's not. He's so this is not in any way to say that I am team Jameis. No, but I don't think it. I think in this instance he's not guilty.
Okay. I'm always for teams running up the score. It's so much fun. And I like it when the other team gets angry. I thought it was, I have never been a bigger John Harbaugh fan than when Vic Fangio lost his mind for 2 months after the game because they rushed for 100 yards. I love it. When I see now, look, to a caveat here, I don't love it in college football when you've got Alabama beating up on Akron. That's not fun. They don't belong on the field with you. You're beating up on people who don't belong there. That's not cool. That's not fun.
They also took the money, though, so it is.
Yeah, they no. The administrators took the money.
Yes,
players didn't get none of that money.
You're right.
Players just got the beating.
I stand corrected. Correct.
But when it's the Dolphins beating up on the Broncos, going for the points record, that's fun. I like that. I want more of that. But Jameis Winston is guilty. And I'll tell you why. It's a technicality that Jameis did not account for. And this goes to precedent as well, because years ago, we all tore Greg Schiano a new one when he was coaching the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because he told his defense when they're in victory formation, play defense, dive at those offensive linemen. And, offenses got very upset, rightfully so, because you're kneeling and you're out here diving at players' legs, trying to get at the ball. A lot of injuries can happen that way. You're out there, you're saying, hey, this game's over, chill, right? Everybody got behind that. Everybody was against Greg Schiano there. So we can't turn around and then say it's okay for the Saints to line up in victory formation and then run a play. Because what you're saying is, hey, now the defense is going to come out there and dive at your players' knees, and you can't say anything about it because you're out here running the ball, scoring touchdowns when you lined up in the game's over formation.
Very fair.
If you want to run that play and get Jamal Williams a touchdown, line up and give him the ball and let him run for a touchdown. Don't line up in victory formation like you're going to kneel and like the team is supposed to just stand off, game's over. Hey, we're just kneeling it out and then hand the ball off. That's ridiculous. Line up, give him the ball, try and score. Don't do it out of the victory formation.
Ravens, he says, when working from home, are you telling your boss you on Netflix? Heck no. So I stand with Jameis.
Listen, 100%, Ravens. You are absolutely correct. It's a technicality.
You know what, B? You have changed my opinion. I agree with you. Guilty, but we are going to suspend. Is this right? It's suspend his sentence. We're going to suspend his sentence. All right.
We don't do that for Florida State players. He's guilty. He's out the league.
Yeah, he's guilty.
We're going to do it because I'm going to ask this question. He's guilty, but also Dennis Allen is guilty, and I want him to serve his sentence. Dennis Allen, you're supposed to be the leader of this team. You took the cowardly way out. Don't apologize to that loser over there because he's yelling at you. You say, first of all, watch your mouth. Don't yell at me. Who are you talking to? All right. Cry about it. Stop me next time. All right. That's how you handle that. That's how you handle that.
It reminds me of another classic Harbaugh moment. This one from Jim. And why I was always a fan of Jim. I forget what even led to it, but I think it was a similar situation where they were running up the score. They scored late, and he went over to shake someone's hand.
Pete Carroll. It was Pete Carroll.
Was it Pete Carroll? And Pete Carroll said, "What's your deal?"
No. Harbaugh went to. I think it was Harbaugh that went to Pete Carroll.
No. Harbaugh responded. Pete Carroll said it first.
Yeah.
So you know, Pete was like, "What's your deal?" Because he was upset about what happened right at the end of the game. And Jim Harbaugh's response was not, "Man, I'm sorry. I don't know why they did that." His response was, "What's your deal? Right? Play some defense."
That's bingo. Now, and I also want to ask a question too. Because I didn't like his response in the press conference when they asked him about it. He said, "I didn't know about that. They called that play on their own, and then they had to ask Jameis about it, right?"
Ravens, he said it was the Lions coach that tried to fight Jim.
But no, different time. That was a different time. That was a different time.
Jim ain't got a lot of friends,
right? And I respect that. But if Bill Belichick was in that press conference and they asked Bill Belichick, "Hey, what happened on that play?" Would he say anything about any player, or would he say something like, "There's still time on the clock.
We're on to Cincinnati."
Yeah, right. You like he would address it later, but he's not throwing anybody under the bus, right? And he would give no apologies because he's done this before. He's ran up the score ridiculously high.
Yep.
Teams were mad. He'd like, "Stop us."
Yeah.
Stop us. Right. Like he didn't care. I don't care how you feel. We don't play for you. You know what I'm saying?
Another example that I'll give, it's sort of in the same vein here. This is what I was watching because it involved the Panthers when they played the Giants, and Odell Beckham and Josh Norman were going at each other. They weren't even playing football. They were just fighting. They got multiple penalties. And, after the game, somebody asked Tom Coughlin, why he didn't take Odell out of the game, because Odell was, he got multiple penalties. He was real out of line. He cheap shotted Josh Norman a couple of times. Like, well, did you think about taking him out of the game? He's like, no. It's like, well, why did you think about taking him out of the game? He's like, because I'm trying to win. Like, he's Odell Beckham, and I'm trying to win.
Okay, all right. This concludes the People's Court because we got to move. We spend a lot of time on this. The rest of the show is going to be rapid fire. Okay, all right. Thank you everybody for participating in that. We're going to move very quickly, and then we're going to go to the overtime show, which you can find on, let me pull up the graphic, patreon.com/LBHT Show. Okay, that's what we'll be right after this, and we're going to be on the overtime show. And we'll be discussing on the overtime show, coaches getting fired, coaches retiring, okay, coaches having mutual parting of ways, okay, all that is going to be discussed on the overtime show. So patreon.com/LBHT Show for as little as $5 a month. You can sign up. All right. And
Thank
get
you,
that.
Agnes.
Thank you, Agnes. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Agnes. Welcome.
Salute. Thank you, Agnes. Really appreciate that. Be awesome like Agnes and sign up. Okay. Okay. Are we talking about Cat Williams? I don't care about comedian beef, but come to the overtime show, ask your question, and we'll discuss it. We talk about anything on the overtime show. Come through, ask your question, and we'll talk about it. All right. Okay. Now we had a lot more to talk about. We're not going to get to everything. Some of this stuff might make its way over to the overtime show. All right. Excuse me. Francis Ngannou. Okay, this is going to be the fastest combat corner in history. Let me get the background. Boom. All right. Francis Ngannou is going to be fighting Anthony Joshua. If you don't know who those people are, Francis Ngannou was a former UFC heavyweight champion. Anthony Joshua,
the scariest person in the world.
Yes. Had an amazing exhibition fight against Tyson Fury. And now he's going to fight Anthony Joshua, and we'll discuss more about that on the overtime show. That is it for the combat corner, ladies and gentlemen. NBA, on to NBA. Okay, this will be one of the fastest NBA segments. Ja Morant is out for the year. Tragic because,
Darn it.
Yes, he hurt his shoulder. And we will see you next year, Ja. It sucks because you were having an amazing year coming off your suspension, but we will see you next year. Okay, that concludes our NBA segment, ladies and gentlemen. Now we are on. Hold on, we got one more thing. We have picks still. We get the NFL Super Wildcard Weekend. Super Wildcard Weekend is here. All right. Who is playing the Super Wildcard Weekend? I can't even tell by this bracket. I think the Steelers and the Bills play.
Steelers and Bills, Dolphins, Chiefs, Browns, Texans, Packers, Cowboys, Lions, Rams, and the Eagles in Tampa Bay.
All right. Now, when I say rapid fire, I mean rapid fire. Okay. Let's do this quick. Chat, type super fast. Steelers versus Buffalo. I have the Steelers winning.
Steelers.
Buffalo.
Okay.
Sure.
Now,
I take that back. I take back my pick because they're playing in Buffalo. Because they're playing in Buffalo. They're playing in Buffalo.
I take it back. I'm sorry, Josh Allen. I'm going with Buffalo. I was just kidding. We all pick Buffalo. All right, Green.
Okay, next up is the Dolphins in Kansas City. Those are the Saturday games. Miami going to Kansas City. I'm taking Kansas City. I don't trust Tua.
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Sunday is going to be an amazing day of football. You started off with Cleveland and Houston, which is just a fun matchup, right? You got the rookie quarterback CJ Stroud. You got the old man Winter and Joe Flacco there. I'm taking the Browns, unfortunately, because of that defense.
For the AFC upset of the week, I am taking the Texans.
I got the Texans.
Next up, we got the Green Bay Packers going to Dallas to take on Dak and the Cowboys. I am picking the upset here. I'm taking Green Bay. I just don't trust Dak in these big moments. That defense isn't as good as we all thought they were initially, and Green Bay has so much young talent in that wide receiving core.
They really do.
I'm taking the Cowboys.
I have the Cowboys, man. I'm taking the Cowboys.
Next up, revenge game of the century.
Yes.
LA Rams versus the Detroit Lions. Matt Stafford coming home to Detroit. Jared Goff seeing his former team who he took to a Super Bowl. I'm taking Detroit in this one. I think that they will just have too much offensively.
I am taking the LA Rams in the NFC upset of the week.
Yeah, I got the Rams.
In the don't really care, wish you wouldn't have to play this game bowl, Philadelphia going to Tampa Bay on Monday night. In this one, I'm actually going to be picking the upset as well. I think Philly is just they're not right. Their defense has gotten worse throughout the season. Jalen Hurts has been bad all year long. A.J. Brown is hurt. Devontae Smith is hurt. And Tampa Bay is playing pretty well. I'm taking Tampa at home.
I am taking Tampa as well.
I got the Eagles. All right. And that does it. Let me give a quick shout out for the folks showing us love over on Facebook. Nefertiti is back over there on Facebook. Thanks for coming through.
Thank you.
Job Big B's over there. Antonio, who's been active in the chat. Salute to all of you. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody in the chat. I want to look, there's still 75 people in here. Man, hit that like button. And if you're new, hit the subscribe button. All right. Appreciate y'all.
No, Danity, you missed the Browns. All right. We started with Cleveland and Houston.
Yeah, I picked Houston. Houston. Listen, everybody that's in the chat now, you get points. Okay, if you've been active in the chat, you get points. If you've just been watching, hit and play, you get points. All right. What are those points good for? At the end of the month or the beginning of the month, whenever we feel like doing it, we give away prizes. Every month we give away prizes. The person with the most points gets a prize. The person that wins our drawing gets a prize. It's a $25 Amazon gift card. How do you qualify for the drawing? You need at least 1,000 points. How do you get points? Donating. Sign up to Patreon. Agnes is going to get a lot of points for signing up to Patreon. Okay. Sign up to our newsletter will get you an automatic 1,000 points. You go over to LBHTShow.com. Just go over there. The box will pop up. You put in your email address and send us a message. Let us know that you signed up for our newsletter. The newsletter hasn't come out yet. So if you sign up and you're waiting for the newsletter, it hasn't come out yet, but it's coming. That'll give you an automatic 1,000 points right there. Submitting questions, which we're going to do real quick here. That will get you points. All right.
Oh, no, we're not. We ain't got time for that.
You don't have time for submitting questions?
No, we got to get about. I'm just going to double their points this week, and we're going to carry them over.
Okay. All right. You get double points. All right. So it's trivia. All right. We're going straight to trivia time. But if you submitted your questions, we have them here. You'll get your points. All right. All right. B, let's go. Trivia time.
Yeah. So real quick trivia with with Nick Saban retiring. We all know that he's the all-time leader in college national championships with 7. He won 6 in Alabama. He won 1 in LSU. And I think most people know that Bear Bryant was second with 6 titles at Alabama. So my question to y'all is, who is in third? What coach is in third all time for college national championships, and where? Well, how many and where did they win them?
I probably should have mentioned this before. People are starting to leave the chat. You get points for getting this right as well.
Yes. Their loss.
you came this far just to leave to get at the very end to get some more points. Danny said her picks are the Browns for another upset. Okay.
Yeah, the Browns winning it.
I just can't bring myself to pick the Browns.
I don't think they win.
Why are you hating on Joe Flacco?
No, I don't like Myles Garrett.
Oh wow,
I like Myles Garrett ever since he ripped off Mega Mason's helmet and hit him with it.
That's when I stopped liking him. Don't do that. That's not okay. It's not okay to hit.
It is okay when he says certain things to you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to hit him with your fist. But don't.
No, you want to do the damage.
Hit him with a helmet that can potentially crack someone's skull.
He hit him with the open side of the helmet.
I don't care. Was it still the helmet?
Like he put the helmet on his head. He didn't even hit him.
Yeah, he's just like, you forgot something.
No. Ever since then, Cleveland's been on my absolutely not. It has nothing to do with Joe Flacco.
Oh, okay. Do we do we have the answers yet, B?
I haven't even looked. I'm giving points away here. Hold on. 1 second.
All right, because we got to move this along. All right. And while B is giving away points, I want to remind you guys, we are going right over to the overtime show after this. All right. Patreon.com/LBHT Show is how you can be a part of the overtime show. Okay. It's a lot of fun. You already know the topic, and if some other people want to talk about anything else, we have a list of topics that we want to talk about, but usually the show just goes to he hit a racist. I approve. I agree. But wherever the conversation wants to go, we'll take it there, within reason, and it's a lot of fun. Okay. You can also see me yell at Suge for trying to eat on camera as well. He's been better at it. He's been better with it. All right. I'd rather have the helmet than Miles' abnormal hand size. Sheesh, no kidding.
So there's a couple partial answers. Not giving credit for that this week.
What? We gotta get going.
No, I'm just saying they're just not gonna get points. We'll do 2 trivia questions next week. They don't get it because we don't have any answers yet.
Okay. Okay. No. I can't argue because I can't want you guys to use Google.
I thought Ferris would be on this. Ferris is all the way wrong.
You guys, I'll say this: we have the most honest chat. We have the most honest audience out there because you guys refuse to Google the answer.
Right.
You refuse. Like, you can just go ahead and Google it. All right. We give you time. We'll wait. Okay. Just give us the answer. We want to give you these points.
No, they failed. They have failed. All right. We're just gonna have 2 questions next week.
All right. What's the answer?
The answer is, in fact, Bernie Bierman with 5 at Minnesota.
I'd be saying
but also Woody Hayes with 5. So he said half of the answer.
You wanted both?
Yeah, I said who's in third. They're tied for third.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Antonio said honesty is the best policy. Well, honestly, we don't care if you Google it. You can Google it. But we appreciate you guys. All right, that is it. Yolanda, thank you for coming through. I know you were busy today. We appreciate you stopping by.
Of course, my pleasure. And I would just like to say to everyone out there, please see us back very, very soon for the next installment of the Court of Public Opinion. Yes. Because I need my day in court.
Yes. It was supposed to be for the overtime show, but Hendo didn't show up. Really? Oh, hold on. Somebody's eavesdropping over here. We got Alexa eavesdropping on a conversation. Honestly, listen, prosecution doesn't show up. You might have the motion for it to be dismissed.
No, there's a legit reason he wasn't here.
There's a legit reason. Did he submit it beforehand? I didn't see it.
Yeah. Is this PTO?
No, it's not PTO. There's some stuff going on with Hendo that you couldn't make it. You let me know beforehand. So we're gonna push that. But we do want to let you all know that tomorrow is Hendo's birthday.
Hey.
And tomorrow we're going to be having a special birthday stream for Hendo over on the Rogue Pod. Time is TBD, but he'll put it up and get the notifications out there. So if you have the time, make sure you stop by the Rogue Pod and wish him a happy birthday. Maybe throw some donations out there too. It's going to be a fun time.
Yes, indeed. All right, we are out of here. Patrons, get ready. The Overtime Show is starting in a few minutes. Everybody else, thank you so much for coming through. Hit that like button on your way out. Also subscribe, share with your friends, all that good stuff. Give us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. All right. With that being said, have a great night. B, are you ready?
Well, and also I want to say I decided to go ahead and give 500 points to each of the people who got it half right.
There you go. Very generous.
Very gracious.
All right. Now, are you ready?
Well, no, because I'm still giving the points. Give me some.
I got you, B. Don't worry. I got you. Right. I got you. All right. Let me find it now. Make sure I don't hit the wrong one. All right. Everybody, have a great night, and we will see you next time. Peace.